So have you ever been to the pharmacy, picked up a prescription, and just wondered about its journey? I don't mean from the warehouse to the shelf. I mean, where did it really begin? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden world of our medicine. It's a global story that starts long, long before it ever reaches your home.
All right, let's just jump right in. Seriously, have you ever stopped to think about it? Where does your medicine actually come from? Not the pharmacy, not the factory, but its most basic fundamental origin.
You know, that one simple question leads us down a pretty complex rabbit hole, and that brings us to our first section, the invisible ingredient. Because as it turns out, the most important part of your medicine is something you will literally never see.
That's because behind every single pill, every prescription, there's this enormous, sprawling global supply chain that's almost completely invisible to us. And if you want to understand the medicine, you first have to understand where it all begins.
And, you know, the best way to wrap our heads around something this huge is to zoom way, way in, to focus on a single, vital link in that chain. So today, we're going to meet a company called Rokad Overseas.
Right on their website, their whole mission is laid out right there, your dedicated partner in pharma progress. Now, that tagline tells you a lot. It says they don't just see themselves as a simple supplier, but as a real collaborator in the whole healthcare industry.
So, who are they? Well, first, they're based in Surat, India. And that's a big deal because India is often called the pharmacy of the world for its massive role in making drugs. They're in the business of pharmaceutical raw materials, and their whole mission is to supply these premium active ingredients to the global market. They are, basically, the source for the source.
This brings us right to the heart of it, really. The building blocks of medicine. What is it that they are actually selling?
Their entire product list really boils down to three main categories: API, API intermediates, and chemicals. I know, that sounds super technical, but stick with me, because understanding these is the key to the whole thing.
Let's start with the big one, API. That stands for Active Pharmaceutical Ingredient. Honestly, you can just think of it as the hero of any drug. It is the one specific part that actually produces the health effect you need. It is literally the active part of your medicine.
Okay, so if the API is the hero ingredient, what on earth is an API intermediate? Well, making that final, perfect API isn't always a one-step process. It's complicated stuff. An intermediate is basically a chemical stepping stone along the way. It's a crucial part of the journey to create that final, stable, active ingredient.
All right, so now we get what they sell, but that's only half the story. Let's dig into how they sell it and how that builds into their whole business model, which they call the promise of partnership.
And this really gets to the core question for their customers, who are other huge companies. In a global market with tons of options, why would a major pharmaceutical giant choose to partner with them?
Well, their answer isn't just one thing, it's the whole package. Look at this breakdown. They promise a reliable supply chain. They promise efficient global logistics. Their pricing is competitive because they're sourcing locally. And, maybe the most important thing in this entire industry, they guarantee compliance with all those high international standards. It's a full-service promise.
And to back all this up, they use key numbers to build trust. First, they highlight their experience, over 5 years in the business. For a potential partner, that says, hey, we're not a fly-by-night operation. We're an established player.
Then they show off their global reach, exporting to more than 10 countries. Now, that's not just a random number. It's proof. It shows they can handle the mind-boggling complexity of international logistics and get their products where they need to go.
And of course, nothing builds confidence like a happy customer. They feature a testimonial from a Mr. Peters who says, Rokad Overseas delivers on their promise every time. Their professionalism and quality are unmatched. That kind of social proof is absolute gold in the business-to-business world.
So let's zoom the camera back out and put all these pieces together. We've looked at this one company, this single link. What does it tell us about the much bigger picture? Well, it shows us how one company can be a truly vital link in this massive global chain.
So here's the bottom line. Companies like Rokad Overseas are the invisible but absolutely essential foundation of modern global medicine. This is the system we've built, a system that allows for incredible efficiency, but also creates this hidden interdependence. A problem in one part of the world can ripple out and affect pharmacy shelves thousands of miles away. They are, quite literally, the starting point for the pills in our medicine cabinets.
And that kind of leads us with one last thought, doesn't it? We've just peeked behind the curtain of our medicine, and it really makes you wonder,
What other invisible links are out there, quietly holding our modern world together?